All right, guys, for the second breakdown, we're doing the 2024 Florida Gators. This is going to be a season outlook and schedule prediction. The Gators are returning veteran quarterback Graham Mertz, who had a pretty good year last year. They also have Montrell Johnson, who's been in the program for a few years, leading the charge at running back. The running back room did suffer a hit when Trevor Etienne decided to transfer to rival Georgia. The Gators will be led at wide receiver by Trey Wilson, losing Ricky Pearsall hurts, but Trey Wilson is a dynamic playmaker. Napier has been recruiting well in the portal and in the high school level, but the offensive line and defense are glaring issues. Hopefully the Gators improve in these two areas, and this season could be a success. Let's get into the schedule breakdown. This schedule did not spare the Gators. In Napier's make-or-break year, as some would call it, it's doing them no favors. This team could very well surprise some people based on what I've read and seen on message boards, but I'll temper my expectations until they show it to me on the field. All right, jumping into this crazy schedule. Game number 1, the Miami Hurricanes travel to Gainesville in the Swamp. Mario Cristobal and Cam Ward, I think they're going to be improved. I don't think it's quite going to be enough in week 1 to defeat the Gators in the Swamp. I like Graham Mertz here to lead us to a victory, 1-0 for the Gators. Game 2 features Samford coming to the Swamp. I don't think there's too much talking that needs to go on here. Florida should win easily, and I say should because we've seen in the past, Florida likes to slip up against these opponents. They start 2-0 though. Next, Elko and the Aggies roll into Gainesville. I think Elko is going to have the Aggies on the right track pretty soon, honestly, but I think Elko's going to come up short in his first trip to the Swamp as a head coach. The Gators are 3-0. Game number 4 has the Gators traveling to Starkville, Mississippi in their first road contest. I think this game will probably be a nail-biter. I have the Gators outlasting Jeff Lebby, and they start off 4-0. Next, the Knights from Orlando, Florida, UCF. Gus Malzahn and KJ Jefferson travel to the Swamp to take on the Gators. I have the Gators getting revenge on KJ Jefferson, who upset the Gators in the Swamp last year. Florida starts out 5-0. Next, the Gators travel to Tennessee. We know Neyland's going to be rocking. I think Josh Heupel and Nico will be too much for the Gators defense, and I have the Gators falling to 5-1. Next, the Wildcats from Kentucky come to the Swamp. We know Coach Stoops and company have had the Gators number here recently, but there's no Ray Davis for the Wildcats this year. I think this is a great game, but I think Florida edges out a victory here. And I think the Gators start off the season 6-1. Next, Georgia and Jacksonville. This is where the schedule starts to get incredibly tough. I think Kirby and crew are going to be too much for the Gators, and I think Trevor Etienne will win his first cocktail party. The Gators fall to 6-2. Next, the Gators travel to Austin, Texas to take on the Longhorns with Quinn Ewers and Coach Sarkisian. I think Coach Sark dials it up on us, and the Gators fall. This leaves them 6-3 on the year. Next, Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers travel to the Swamp. I think this game could go either way, but I think Garrett Nussmeier will lead his team to victory and help Coach Brian Kelly secure another win against the Gators. I do believe this is one of the winnable games for Florida, though. They fall to 6-4. Next, Jackson Dart and the Ole Miss Rebels travel to the Swamp. I think the Lane train, including Jackson Dart and that high-powered offense, are going to be too much for the Gators. Princely Human Mielen wins his return to the Swamp, and the Gators fall to 6-5. Next, the Gators roll into Tallahassee to take on the Florida State Seminoles. This is another game that I think will be close and could go either way. I think this game is going to depend on who's healthier at the time, who has the more depth. As of right now, I'm going to be taking the Noles in this game to win a close one at home. Now, this leaves the Gators 6-6 on the year. Bowl eligible. Is this enough for Billy Napier to keep his job? Let me know what team you want to see next in the comments. Go Gators.